The honourable member for Bowman.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. And look, this is such a complex issue that that clinicians and social workers and a number of professions have worked on for generations now, and we are no closer to a solution, Mr Deputy Speaker, to that of problem gambling. My 5 minutes today, I wanted to focus on the medical and the caring side of problem gambling, to then look very briefly at the terms of reference and whether the Productivity Commission addressed them, and then finally take some ACT-related points, because obviously we're in a territory where there is predominantly community gambling, and that makes it a very, very different profile to the other states. Deputy Speaker, we've been working on the medical model with everything from SSRIs to opiate antagonists as medical treatments, and then you work your way through peer support and self-help groups and banning lists so that people don't enter areas of gambling, but still we are a long, long way from a solution. And that's why the terms of reference were developed and the Productivity Commission addressed this very, very important issue and area. I want to make one very, very clear point, and that is that we have a range of different gambling challenges within the private betting sphere, and the one that is of greatest concern to me are what are called the hyperlink, the multi-level jackpot systems that have multiple near-miss outcomes. And that is one small subcategory of betting machines that are of enormous concern to me, Deputy Speaker. It hasn't been addressed in this report as far as I'm aware. Now, these are machines that are extremely damaging and are actually positively playing on some of the most addictive elements of gambling. What are they? Well, they've been listed in DSM-4. They've also been developed in a number of studies in the United States. But in essence, it's the preoccupation and the thoughts about gambling that never go away. The fact that through tolerance, or toleration as the Americans say, more and more gambling is needed to obtain the same rush. The irritability and the withdrawal sense that without gambling life is not complete. The need for escape, where the subject gambles to get away from the troubles of the day. Chasing, where once one loses, one feels the need to bet again to win those losses back. Lying, where you hide the extent of one's gambling. Loss of control, where you can successfully attempt to reduce gambling. And then, of course, illegal acts, where one will actually break the law to obtain the money to gamble. The loss of and risk significant relationships with family and those to whom you're close, be it relationship or job or other connections. And then finally, bailout, where you turn to family and friends for help, and effectively have 5 out of 10 of those and you're a problem gambler. What we have in the ACT, just to take a snapshot, is that there is turned through the ACT around, I think, around $170 million every year in gambling, and it's important to say that it's all community gambling here, so there's no private establishments that allow gambling. And in those 5,200 machines, we have about the lowest machine take of any state or territory, at around $35,000 per machine. And I think those who are operating the ACT would be at pains to say that, you know, so much of that money goes back into the community. We need to find a very, very careful balance between setting up enormously expensive transitionals, such as trying to change hardware or even reprogram these machines, which would be at mind-numbing cost. And to do something as simple as to change the maximum bet per limit per button would be extraordinarily expensive to do. Turnover of machines in the order of, I think, every 8 to 10 years. So you certainly can't wait for new machines to be installed. That's of concern to those that are operating community gambling establishments in the ACT. The second one is that money actually does do some really important things around the community. We tend to forget that, and what we don't want to see is just a system where we have these completely impotent increases in signs in establishments where it turns into Parramatta Road and you end up ignoring all of the signs. In the end, there has to be a combination of both some small and affordable changes with the technology itself, and I've named one, those hyperlink machines. And I know there's one single company that holds the patent for that and would be very, very disturbed to have that subcategory of machine banned. But I would say that were that to be done, you'll be addressing potentially 70 to 80% of problem gambling, because it is that machine category that is most damaging to problem gamblers. The other point to make is that obviously community gamblers feel that they're far less aggressive in their marketing. With private gambling, of course, every increased dollar in gambling does go to the establishment itself, and that's a far cry from community gambling. So, look, in summary, we're heading as hard as we can on medical solutions. We're looking at community support for problem gamblers. We know in the end that no matter what card or identification system is introduced, problem gamblers will go to extraordinary steps to bypass them. So I support some of the recommendations from the Productivity Commission, but acknowledge that probably the one that I support most strongly, and that is the most damaging of all, they're the hyperlink machines.
Order.
They should be the focus of this report.
Order.